My toy factory was supposed to produce only inflatable girlfriends, but the customer asked me to make a rocket model for her. Her only request was that it had to be incredibly lifelike. I nodded in agreement, but I told her it would cost extra. So at her scientist grandfather's 18th birthday celebration, all eyes were focused on the rocket I had created, but not a single person knew it was real. At that moment, Mr. Su, wearing reading glasses, carefully examined the rocket. Young lady, did you buy this? He asked, why does it look exactly like the Tanchang series? Mr. Su, as a technical consultant for the Dragon Nation Aerospace team, naturally had some knowledge of rockets. He marveled at the rocket model his granddaughter had purchased and said, it looks just like the real thing. The exterior material doesn't seem like plastic or iron. It resembles our Tanchang series coating material. General Zhou Anmin of the Dragon Nation Air Force also approached, gazing at the nearly human-sized rocket in awe. If this is a real rocket, that would be amazing. Today, the Eagle Nation just successfully launched their latest 8th generation rocket, surpassing our Tanchang 5th generation. We were finally catching up, and now they're pulling ahead again. Upon hearing this, the prominent figures in the room all hung their heads in disappointment. General Zhou Anmin realized it wasn't the right occasion to discuss this and changed the subject. Ruo Shui, your birthday gift for your grandfather is excellent. Judging by the exquisite craftsmanship of this model, it must have additional features. Right. Suddenly, Ruo Shui had an idea and hurriedly took out a remote control from the packaging. Could it be that this thing can actually fly? Zhou Anmin asked with a smile, while Mr. Su took the remote control and examined it closely. It probably can't fly. Most likely, it's some kind of light show, he said before pressing the launch button. The remote control began a countdown, 10, 9, 8, 7. Everyone couldn't help but chuckle. Ruo Shui, standing nearby, blushed with embarrassment. She spent $30,000 and only got a tiny speaker. I wish it at least had a light, something flashing. The countdown continued in the remote control. 3, 2, 1. Ignition. A blast of heat erupted from beneath the rocket model space, leaving everyone in utter shock as the rocket actually took off with a whoosh, crashing through the roof of the building and disappearing from view. Everyone was left dumbfounded. General Zhou Anmin couldn't believe his eyes as he looked at the hole in the ceiling. What just happened? Am I seeing things, or did the rocket model actually fly? Ruo Shui was still in shock, muttering, I told the boss that a more realistic rocket was better, but I didn't mean for you to make a real one. Mr. Su, on the other hand, was the quickest to react. He rushed into the backyard, looking up at the sky. A rocket model with 3 stages of separation. Is this really a model? It's practically a real rocket. After the rocket model disappeared from view, everyone turned their attention to Ruo Shui. Young lady, where did you get this rocket model? How high can it fly? It's not going to explode, is it? Ruo Shui helplessly shrugged. I really don't know. It was made by a toy factory. The person's name is Chen Chao, but I don't know anything else about him. General Zhou Anmin was astonished. A toy factory. Don't play games with me, young lady. What's the, who is this Chen Chao? Could he be some military industrial big shot? Ruo Shui nodded, and her grandfather agreed. But Ruo Shui quickly shook her head. No, he's just about my age. He really is just from a toy factory. Meanwhile, in the toy factory, I watched the global live broadcast of the Eagle Nation's rocket launch with frustration. They're making a big deal out of launching a rocket. Their technology isn't even as good as the model I made. If I had known, I would have made another one and flown it up there to show them. The live broadcast on television continued with a blonde and blue-eyed host introducing for our 8th generation rocket. This time we are using the most advanced rocket launch technology. It boasts a speed that's more than twice the previous one and is equipped with a fully automated weapons interception system. Moreover, we will be showcasing the Eagle Nation's newly developed Thor's Hammer project in space. Upon hearing this, I furrowed my brows slightly, while the Su family was in complete shock. But Thor's Hammer has already been developed. General Joyman stood up suddenly and exclaimed, "Although they are targeting a latitude and longitude that is not within our Dragon Nation's range, it will undoubtedly trigger a massive tsunami, causing immeasurable damage to our coastal areas." This is truly going too far. Mr. Su sighed and said, "In the end, might makes right. No matter how advanced the technology is, it's all in vain if our firepower falls short. These researchers have devoted their entire lives to ensure that Dragon Nation will no longer be bullied by other nations, and can speak with confidence on the world stage. But it seems the path ahead is still long." Meanwhile, inside the octagonal building of Eagle Nation, General Makas had a smug expression as he puffed on his large pipe. "The minds of Dragon Nation's people are forever foolish. They truly believe that having more people can lead to the development of high technology." Just then, an alarming siren rang out in the command room, and all the staff members froze, warning unidentified flying objects approaching. Makas was also shocked. What the hell is this? How dare they interfere with the launch of our Thor's Hammer? Report flying objects unidentified, suspected to originate from Blue Star. Speed approximately 100 times the speed of sound, predicted impact with our satellite in 15 seconds. Order, continue Thor's Hammer launch. Immediately activate the interception weapon system. This live broadcast is a perfect opportunity to showcase our power to the world. Makas said with great satisfaction. On the screen, numerous infrared beams appeared around the satellite, targeting the direction from which the unidentified flying objects were coming. Infrared missile interception system activated, target lock. Fire burst of light and mist followed as dozens of infrared missiles were fired toward the unidentified flying objects. Suddenly, a laser beam shot from below, and in a flash, the laser emitted from the unidentified flying object pierced through all the missiles, even penetrating the Eagle Nation's satellite orbiting in space. On the live broadcast from the Eagle Nation, a small rocket passed through the satellite with the words "Laughing Toy Factory" slowly appearing in front of the camera. Everyone watching took a sharp intake of Polaire. What just passed by? It looked like Dragon Nation's writing. General Makas held his pipe with trembling hands, pointing at the large screen, when the Su family's living room fell into a stunned silence. And that logo seemed somewhat familiar. General So Ayman rubbed his eyes and said, "It seems like a sudden realization," and everyone's attention focused on Su Roshue. They excitedly surrounded her and asked, "Young lady, did you spend a lot of money on this rocket model?" Su Roshue held up 3 fingers and said, "Well, it wasn't exactly cheap." Mr. Su widened his eyes. 3 million? That's not much. This is a rocket, and it has miniaturized technology. If the cost is only 3 million, does that mean we can launch a space attack on the Eagle Nation satellite at any time? Actually, it was $3,000. Su Roshue mumbled. "What? $3,000? Absolutely impossible." General Cho Amin asserted, "I'm seriously beginning to think that this might be a secret research base inside, and it has already posed a threat to us. We must investigate." General Ju Min strongly agreed with Mr. Su's statement, saying, "In that case, Roshue, you'll come with me, and I'll take some military personnel to investigate. If they turn out to be our own people, it's a blessing for our Dragon Nation. If it's some other force, then..." Inside the Laughing Toy Factory at this moment, the gatekeeper, Old One, shouted in panic, "Director, something's wrong? Something wrong?" The beautiful woman who ordered the rocket brought a bunch of soldiers with her. I was half asleep and almost jumped out of my skin. Are they here to hold us accountable? Back when that woman complained about the high price of my product, she didn't even give me a chance to explain its proper usage before she snatched the rocket and left. Could it be that during the rocket launch, someone decided to hold onto it and lit the fuse without thinking? When Mr. Su arrived at the factory entrance, he was surprised to see me come out. He hadn't expected such a young man. Well, I'm actually the general manager, to be precise. It's the old man next to me who designed it. I had told him to use less fuel, but now something might have gone wrong. Is it a serious issue? But this matter can't be entirely blamed on us. I gestured towards Su Shui and said, after all, when that person took it, she didn't bother to listen to my explanation about the operating procedure. Mr. Su seemed a bit puzzled after hearing what I said. After a long discussion, we finally understood they weren't here to hold us accountable, but were interested in the rocket model after it was launched. Su Roche looked at me angrily and asked, "What's wrong with you?" I replied, "I just wanted to buy a realistic toy, and you ended up getting a real one. It's one thing for it to go to space, but shooting down the Eagle Nation satellite is a whole other level of trouble." I was in shock as I had gone to sleep halfway through the live broadcast. Oh my, are you serious? Am I going to have to pay for it? Pay for what? Is the space server theirs? Who asked them to float around our area? Besides, we didn't use weapons to shoot it down. It's just a toy.
If it wasn't built to withstand it, whose fault is it?
Mr. Su calmly said, "This time, the toy rocket we launched accidentally knocked down the Eagle Nation's rocket. It was quite satisfying to see. So there's no need to worry about it." Mr. Su looked at me again and asked, "Did you really make this rocket yourself?" I suddenly realized something and said, "We're just a toy factory. We made a custom toy as requested. It's just that it flew higher than expected. Is there a height limit in toy manufacturing standards? Is there a height limit?" No, there isn't. I replied confidently, "What about that laser weapon? We've never seen anything like that." That's what the lady requested. You can see I've documented it very clearly. She said this automatic interception weapon had to be high-tech, so I thought it was just an upgrade. Missiles are too low-tech, and if they failed to catch the target and fell, it could lead to explosions. I handed over the recorded information as I spoke. Su Shisa looked at the information in disbelief and asked, "How did you manage to record all this?" This was what I heard during a phone call with my dad. They mentioned the functions being developed by the Eagle Nation recently. What are you, some kind of genius? Did I hear wrong? I thought it was a scam when that woman initially gave me a $300 deposit. What can we do about it now? In any case, I've made it. So let's agree that money won't be refunded. Mr. Su laughed and said to me, "Chen, can you sell these technologies to our military? We can sign a strategic cooperation agreement with you and provide you with technology usage fees." How much is the technology usage fee? In fact, let me tell you, although our factory is on the brink of closure, the technology we use to manufacture toys is still very advanced. I'm actually quite interested in this. We can make a deal. Mr. Su was feeling relieved that things were going smoothly. As long as you're willing to share it with us, we'll allocate the remaining $200 million in funding for this year to you. What do you think? $200 million? Deal? The money doesn't matter much to me. I'm a citizen of the Dragon Nation, and contributing to the nation's development is the responsibility of every citizen. Really? Mr. Su was overjoyed and didn't expect the negotiations to go so smoothly. It seemed that the young man in front of him was a good person, He had also been thinking about his granddaughter, who had been single for so many years. He couldn't afford to miss this chance. That's settled then. I'm afraid I've imposed on you today. Let's stay in touch more in the future. With this connection to my granddaughter, there's no need to worry about me running away. He was about to take his leave. By the way, some of last time she left in such a hurry that I didn't have a chance to explain the precautions, and I hadn't even switched the fingerprint on the remote control. Is the rocket model still in space? Are you planning to retrieve it? At the very least, shouldn't you bring it back? I said to Mr. Su, who was preparing to leave,